Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name's Molly, and today I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to Season 1, Episode 4 of Hannibal. Alright, so those of you who have been watching my Hannibal reaction videos so far may have noticed over the past week that Episode 3 appeared, then it disappeared, and it reappeared and disappeared, and this continued to happen repeatedly over the course of the week. This is because I was having a tremendous amount of copyright issues with Episode 3. Now, I've had copyright issues with videos before. Plenty of videos that I've done have received a copyright claim, which doesn't necessarily block the video because whoever is the copyright owner making the claim is allowed to decide what will happen. And sometimes they get blocked. I had a couple episodes of Hill House that were blocked, which I then had to re-edit and post back up again. But most of the time, if something is claimed, which has happened with most of my True Detective videos and Sabrina videos, for instance, what happens is that the company just doesn't allow you to monetize the videos. So any ad revenue from those being watched would go to the people who created the television shows. Which, that's fine, you know, the videos are still out there, people can still watch them, I can still talk about my opinions, so I don't mind that when that happens. Even though technically the videos I make should fall under fair use and they shouldn't claim them with that, it happens, but that's okay. But, as I said, once in a while a video will get completely blocked by the claimant. And that's what happened with Episode 3 of Hannibal. But the weird thing about it was that the company that was making a copyright claim on Episode 3 and blocking it, is a company that, as far as I can tell, and I did a lot of research about this over the past week, has no claim to Hannibal as the television series, to any of the Hannibal Lecter series characters, whether it be from the books or the films, or to any of the music that was used in that video. In that episode, in Episode 3. So basically, in short, they don't have any rights to Episode 3 of Hannibal. They really had no right to be claiming that video in any sort of way. So, you know, I tried re-editing the video and taking it down and putting it back up a couple of times. Each time they claimed it and blocked it. I disputed it, and what happens on YouTube is if you dispute a copyright claim, the person that decides whether or not to approve to let your video go back up or not is the person that made the copyright claim. So it doesn't go to YouTube or anyone else, it's whoever was claiming the video gets to decide after you dispute it. This is done because a lot of times big corporations will just have automated claims that happen, and you can put in a dispute, and a lot of times then they'll have someone manually come back and check, and they'll say, okay, well, we're okay with this, you can put the video back up. But whoever this company is, and again, as far as I can tell from a lot of research, they have no right to this, denied my dispute and blocked it again. And if that happens, the only recourse that you have is to then, once again, put in a dispute of their disagreement. You have one more option to do this, but again, it goes back to them. And the thing is, in that case, they either have to agree to let you put the video up, or they take it down completely off of YouTube and you can receive a copyright strike. And those are their only two choices that they can go with, pretty much. So, a copyright strike is very bad for your channel. There's a lot of negative things that can happen. So pretty much, even though, again, they really seem to have no rights to any of the material, I really don't have any more recourse in terms of Episode 3. So I might try and re-edit and repost it again in a little while, see what happens. But because this company doesn't actually seem involved with Hannibal, and they didn't make any claims on Episodes 1 or 2, I feel like there's some sort of confusion or problem, and I'm just gonna go ahead and try to review and react to and post up there Episode 4 and hope for the best. And hope that they're not going to be involved and that it was some sort of just mix-up with Episode 3. So this is a tentative, hopeful review and reaction video to Episode 4 of Hannibal. All right, so that was kind of a long-winded intro, but I thought it was important to kind of explain what's been going on with this. So before we jump into episode 4, again, I'd just like to say thank you so much to anyone who came out to support me on Patreon. If you're interested in doing so, I'll leave a link in down below this video. You can get things like early access to videos, extended reactions to certain TV shows, right now The Expanse, and when it starts in April, the last season of Game of Thrones, as well as now a Patreon-only show, and that is going to be full reactions to Penny Dreadful. That, again, is a result of copyright issues. This really seems to be the only way that I can show Penny Dreadful at all, unfortunately, at the time being. So there's also other rewards and such, so if you're interested, check it out down below. But I also just want to say thank you to everybody who has come out to watch my videos, to comment, liked any of my videos, subscribed to the channel, who's stuck around and waited with Hannibal episode 3 continuing to reappear and disappear over and over again. I do appreciate the support. Alright, so thank you very much, regardless of whether you are going on Patreon. I appreciate you just coming out and hearing what I have to say and watching my videos. Alright, with all of that being said, I'm ready to get into the next episode. So let's start episode 4.
How did you feel seeing Maurice ashore, impaled in his enclave? Guilty. Because you couldn't save her? Because I felt like I killed her.
Damn it, Hannibal.
I got so close to him. Sometimes I felt like we were doing the same things at different times of day, like I was eating or showering or sleeping at the same time he was. Even after he was dead? Even after he was dead.
I love the way they do these scenes, but it's so creepy.
Table has been set. Family dinner. I wasn't invited. I take my seat at the head of the table. My seat. My place setting. Next to Mrs. Turner. I am the guest of honor. Nobody's taken a bite of their dinner. If you don't eat your growing foods, you won't get any dessert. One leaves the table. All afraid to move. Even the little ones behave themselves. I brought my own family to this home invasion, controlling the Turners with threats of violence. Threats that turn to action. The Turner family is executed simultaneously, with the exception of Mrs. Turner, who dies last. This is my design. I shoot Mrs. Turner. What do you see?
But honestly though, it's done so well. But you just
Family values.
feel so bad for Will that that's what's in his head.
Family values. Do you have an appointment?
Do you have a beer?
Interesting day with Abigail.
Yeah, my grief work, trauma intervention. It's all on course. I think she might be wrestling with a low-grade depression.
I mean, it'd be surprising if she wasn't.
Nothing wrong with a little self-medication, right, Doctor? such a bright young girl go so adrift.
Perhaps it's time Abigail's released from clinical treatment.
Released where? Back into the wild?
Spending each day immersed in tragedy may be doing more harm than good. She should be out in the world, finding a footing, giving her the confidence to move forward.
Abigail's in no condition
I mean,
to tackle
I feel like
real-world issues
there
like
might be
where she
some
lives.
Suggesting
validity to that idea, but I just don't.
This is a girl who was very attached to her parents. You stepping in
I
as a
never know.
surrogate would only be a crutch.
Yeah,
I think Abigail needs to
I never
figure
know whether
things
to
out for
trust
herself in a safe,
if Hannibal's
clinical environment. And that will give her
psychological
the
advice
confidence.
is actually, you
I
know,
defer to the passion of my esteemed colleague. Passions can
based on the best interest of the patient or a game that he's playing. I feel like it crosses the line back and forth.
I'm glad we didn't have guns in my house. We shot my sisters just to get them out of the bathroom.
I liked having a big family.
My parents gave me a gift, a twin. Who wouldn't want two of me?
Let me guess. Only child. Why'd you say that? Family friction is usually a catalyst for personality development.
I was
Jeez.
the oldest, so all the
Rude.
friction rolled down to me.
demonstrated an aptitude for the psychological.
Something's so foreign about family. Like an ill-fitting suit. I never connected to the concept.
You created a family for yourself.
Yeah, I connected a family of strays. And thank you for feeding them while I was away.
I was referring to Abigail. Tell me about the Turner family. Were they affluent, well-to-do?
They lived like they had money,
Did your family have money, Will?
and we were poor. I followed my father from the boat yards of Biloxi and Greenville to lake boats on Erie.
Always the new boy at school, always the stranger.
Always.
What grudge was Mrs. Turner's killer harboring against her?
Motherhood.
Not motherhood, a perversion of it. A modified boudoir from Alibab's gastronomie pratique.
Food always looks
You
so
promised to deliver
intense.
your wife to my dinner table.
Well, we're gonna have to polish up our act. We can't have you diagnosing our marital problem.
Let's go!
I mean, you didn't even give him 2 seconds, Jack.
Making it difficult to provide an education, Jack.
We found a match to a set of prints we pulled from the Turner home. They belong to a 13-year-old boy from Reston, Virginia. His name is Connor Frist.
Another kid.
Another missing kid. Vanished 10 months ago. Case was never solved.
How many kids in the first family?
3, just like the Turner family. We're ready to go when you are, and you're ready to go now, so let's go.
You're expecting a crime scene?
And Abigail's welfare. Tell me, why are you so angry?
I'm angry about those boys. I'm angry because I know when I find them, I can't help them. I can't give them back what they just gave away.
Oh,
Family.
seems a little harsh, Will.
We call them the Lost Boys.
Gave away. I mean, they're traumatized, manipulated.
And perhaps it's our responsibility, yours and mine, to help her find her way.
I had one where Marissa was sending me picture texts. Like crime scene photos of Nicholas Boyle. Gutted.
How you left him?
Even though she's dead, I'm afraid that Marissa's gonna tell everyone I killed him and they'll think I'm just like my dad. Sorry. Can't really talk about this in group.
You don't have that luxury, Abigail.
I just have to get used to lying.
Only have to lie about one thing. And when you're with me, you don't have to lie about anything.
Well, you've
In a dream, I
certainly
wonder
set her up perfectly, Hannibal.
How I could live with myself, knowing what I
such a big deal about common courtesy, I'm a little taken aback. / a lot taken aback. That you would take my patient, out of the hospital without my permission.
It's a very good point.
And I'm not a professional schooled. But don't put me in this position ever again.
I'm sorry.
Rude. Hannibal, shockingly rude.
You have every right to be upset.
He
with
does
me.
hate
I
rudeness.
overstepped my bounds.
Where is she?
I love that.
She's in the dining room.
Her clothes are fabulous.
And Alana? What is it? Abigail. What do you see?
I see family.
All right. Well, that was episode 4. So an interesting episode where there was a very clear and obvious theme throughout that ran through, you know, the personal interactions of all of the main characters basically, as well as the case. And that theme, of course, being family, and, you know, what makes a family, the consequence of losing family, growing your own family, what it's like to be in a family and responsibility within it. So it was very interesting to see how they played that out in so many different possible ways. And interesting to see even down in the little discussions that they had in like the forensics laboratory where they're all talking about, you know, which child were you, an only child, middle child, eldest child, and kind of what maybe stereotypically someone would be like in the aftermath of that. Just down even to that extent, to the little details of that, how it played out was very interesting. So I guess the big thing for me with this episode is it clearly, again, is showing Hannibal's, or like the level of his manipulation of Abigail. I mean, you had the scene where she's talking about how she can't even talk about her secret with anyone in group. She just feels compelled to get it out when she's with Hannibal because she literally has to lie the rest of the time. And, you know, he's saying, oh, well, you only have to lie about this one little thing. Yes, a thing that's plaguing her in her dreams where she's having nightmares about killing this guy over and over again and her dead friend threatening her with that idea. But he's saying, you only have to lie about this and you don't have to lie about it to me. And that's just, I mean, it's just such a perfect way to set up and manipulate her into forming this bond, this relationship with him, where not only does she feel like obligated to keep a secret for him and obligated to like interact with him, but then she comes over time to view him as maybe the only person that she can fully invest in and trust in. I mean, it's a classic manipulation tactic, and he's really, really got her. And then you see him taking it to the next level too with actively, you know, drugging her to the point where she's having these hallucinatory vision-like experiences where she's starting to see Hannibal and Alana as her family, as almost like her parental figures, which he clearly, again, is something that he obviously orchestrated, expecting Alana to be there because she'd find out and she'd be upset, expecting to create this specific dynamic. And to me, I mean, it's fascinating to watch, but in a disturbing way. And it plays back into what I was saying during Alana and Hannibal's conversation in his office, where I just don't know, like most of the time, if his advice that he gives, his psychological advice, is genuinely the things that he thinks is best for someone, or if it's all just part of a manipulation, or if there's some overlap between those two things. And it's hard to tell when he's giving advice what exactly is going on. Is he looking out for the best interest of that person, or is he just, you know, trying to play his games and do what he wants to do? But then, even in a larger sense, you know, you wonder, he obviously has a goal of getting Abigail to be extremely close to him personally, to trust him, be under his kind of thumb. And you kind of wonder how much that has to do with her specifically and his views toward her, and how much of that has to do with his overall attempts to like interact with and understand and maybe manipulate Will, because he's also constantly going to Will and talking about how oh, you are paternal towards Abigail, and oh, you care about Abigail and have this responsibility for her, and you're making a surrogate family with her. When you don't necessarily see Will actively trying to do that, you see him being deeply concerned with her constantly and maybe feeling a sense of responsibility, but Hannibal is really instilling this idea in his head at the same time as he is going out and actively making Abigail view him as family. So you can see, it seems like he's kind of trying to lay pieces down, whether it is for Will to, I don't know, be jealous about Hannibal's relationship with Abigail, or whether if it's eventually to kind of draw Will into this little weird family creation that he's so far trying to shape with Alana and Abigail. We'll see, but it's definitely interesting to watch him move them all like pieces. Fascinating to see. And I mean, you realize eventually, obviously, Will is gonna catch on to sort of what's happening and find out the truth about Hannibal. So I just think it's gonna be fun to watch that unfold and eventually come to pass. But all right, well, if you think there's anything important that I missed you'd like to comment upon, or if you have any questions for me, just anything else you'd like to talk about, please do head down to the comment section and we can continue chatting. All right, hopefully this video will not get taken down. I'm hoping for the best, everybody. All right, other than that, I'll just say thank you so much for joining me once again. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.